All right, so this is section R.2 part 1. We'll cover part 2 tomorrow. So, by the way, does anybody know how to say problem 1? If I was blind, how would you read problem 1 to me? What does that mean? 23, or what is that thing? Anybody know?
2 to the third power.
Yeah, it's 2 to the third power. And by the way, that 3 is a power, but the official name for it is exponent. That's why we call exponential expression. So it's an exponent. The way to do 2 to the third power is, some people say 2 times 3. That's wrong. I shouldn't have wrote it down because now you guys are going to do that. It's 2 to the third power exponents. Right. So there's only there's 2 steps. Right. By the way, the 2, the number that the power is attached to, or the exponent is attached to, is called the base. Write the base down. The number of times the power indicates. So I'm going to write the base down 2. I'm going to write it down 3 times. Do you see? And step 2, just multiply it. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So 2 to the third power equals 8. Here's another one. 4 is the base. Write the base down this many times, 4 times, and then multiply it. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4, oh no, it's 64. 64 times 4, I think, what is that, 128? So let's try these on our calculator. 2 to the third and 4 to the fourth. Somebody has their mic on and the TV in the background, just let you know. Where am I? I gotta get to the calculator. There we go. All right, so 2 to the third power. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Take 2, and then we have to raise it to the third power. There's the arrow up button that raises it. Do you watch the black square? It raises it up to the third power. Now, if I'm going to arrow out and go down, that's 2 to the third power. And we said the answer was 8. When I hit enter, the answer is 8. 2, 2, 2, multiplied all together, you get 8. Let's try 4 to the fourth power. 4, raised to this arrow, raises it, raises the little black box up to the exponent form. 4 to the 4 power. When I hit enter, oh, I did. How come nobody told me I got it wrong? It's 256. So let's go back to that problem. We said this was 8. And 4, 4, 4, 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. 64 times 4 is
256.
There we go. I had to multiply it this way. I can't do it sideways. 256. Thanks. Okay, smarty. Tell us what 3 to the fifth power is. Write down 3. 5 times, and then multiply it. Try it on your calculator. Do we get 243? Did anybody get 243?
Yes.
Good, good, good. All right, so those are powers, exponents. Okie dokie. Let's move on. If it lets me, there we go. No, there we go. Oh, we're going to do a fraction. By the way, I'm going to do it manually, then I'll put it on the calculator. Write down the base, 4/7, 3 times, and then multiply. Remember how we multiply fractions? We multiply across the top. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. Then we multiply across the bottom. 7 times 7 times 7. I don't know. It's too late at night. 343. Try to reduce it if you can. I'm going to put it in my calculator. 64 divided by 343, and it doesn't reduce. 64 over 343. By the way, this brings up a really good point. 4/7 to the third power. 4/7 to the third power. Do you see how it's in parentheses? If I have a problem like that, if I have a problem, I'm going to write it down exactly as I see it. So it was 4/7 to the third power, but the 4/7 was in parentheses. So I'm going to type in parentheses fraction 4/7, or was it 4/7? Yeah. Arrow over, close my parentheses, and then raise it to the third power. Do you see? I want to write it exactly as I see it. So now when I hit enter, I get the same answer, 64 over 343. So when you do this, try to write it exactly as you see it. That will help out a lot. It'll especially help out coming up in a little while when we do evaluate. So just get used to doing that. And you could put 0.05 to the third power in your calculator and see what it equals. I don't know what it equals. 0.05 raised to the third power. You get some really small number. I'm trying to find my pen. There it is. 0.000125. So do you see the number started with a decimal? So it's good to end with a decimal. By the way, you can, oh, did you know you could change this to a fraction? I'm not sure if I showed you how to change decimal to a fraction on the calculator. Let's do that really quick. Do you see I have my decimal? If I want a fractional answer, on my calculator, we have the FD button right here, right above table, FD, fraction to decimal or decimal to fraction. So we have to hit second table, and it changes decimals to fractions and fractions to decimals. Except this one, it won't change. It's too small. That's funny. Let me show you one that will change. Let's try 0.5. We know that's a fraction of 1/2. So when I hit that, it changes it to 1/2. So I guess when a fraction is too small, it won't change it. Certain fractions, I guess it won't change. That's just a regular fraction. 0.5 is 1/2. So the calculator can't do everything. Order of operations, really important. I'm going to test your skill. Put down your calculators. No calculators for this problem. I'm going to see what you get for an answer. Nobody is allowed to use a calculator. I'm going to create a problem for you, and I want you to type your answer into the chat box, okay? Let's try this. By the way, before we begin, anybody remember the order of operations of math? How did you learn how to do the order of math in high school? Anybody remember the order of operations? There were different sayings you could do.
PEMDAS?
Yeah, PEMDAS. Or I remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, which is PEMDAS. P stands for do what's in the parentheses. First, do all the exponents, the powers, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. This was the order to do math. Now, there's a little bit more to this. I don't want to tell you yet. Nobody say anything, but there's a little bit more to this. I want you to type in this answer, 4 times 3 plus 2. So don't type your answer into the chat box. Don't use a calculator. 4 times 3 plus 2. What do you get? Type your answer into the chat box. It doesn't matter if you're wrong. By the way, if you get a problem wrong, that's okay, because we can only learn if we're wrong with a problem. If you get everything right, you're never going to learn. Everybody got 14. I wonder if the last few people copied the people before them. No, that's pretty simple, right? I think it's pretty simple. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 12 plus 2 is 14. That's the answer we got. Okay, so I have another question. Here we go. Whoever types their answer in first wins 1,000,000 bonus points. Okay. Let me write down the parentheses. Exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. I'm kidding about the 1,000,000 bonus points. Okay, here we go. Let me write down the problem. 8, hang on, I might have to change it. 8 divided by 4 times. Type in your answer. Go. Oh, do you see? We're getting different answers. Oh, yeah. I like that. I love it. How did I know some of you would get this problem wrong? How did I know? How many people in high school was your math teacher also your gym coach? Usually they don't have enough qualified math teachers, so your gym coach is your math teacher, and they really mess you up. Okay, so let's take a look. By the way, everybody who wrote 1 is wrong. Can you believe that? If you wrote 1, you are wrong. That's crazy, huh? Let's show you what the true order of operations are. Parentheses, exponents, that's true, but multiply and divide have to be done from left to right. Also, add and subtract are done from left to right. So multiply is not higher than divide. Add is not higher than subtract. It's done from left to right. So the first multiply or divide I see is this. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Oh, what did I say? Yeah. So then we go 2 times 2 is 4. Try this on your calculator. 8 divided by 4 times 2. Your calculator does the order of operations for you. Your calculator will do the order of operations for you. No, you do not multiply first. You do multiply and divide from left to right, whichever is first. And in this case, divide is first. So you do not multiply this problem first. The order of operations says multiply and divide are on the same level, even though we write it like this. It's on the same level, and you have to work it from left to right. So let's put this 8 divided by 4 times 2 in my calculator and show you 8 divided by 4 times 2. You type it in all at once, and do you see your calculator does the order of operations for you? 8 divided by 4 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. They do it correctly. A lot of people think you multiply first. You don't. Multiply and divide are the same level. You have to do multiply and divides from left to right. Same as add and subtract. You have to do add and subtract from left to right. But your calculator will do all that for you. So I'm glad I taught some of you something today. Let's put number 7 in our calculator. I'm going to go ahead and put it in our calculator. I don't know if you can see my calculator, but if you have a calculator, try it. 73 minus 6. Those dots are multiplied times 2 times 3. And so I put it in my calculator. I hit enter, and I get 37. So let me show you mathematically how to do this problem. You do all the multiply and divide first before add and subtract. So this is the first multiply and divide I see from left to right. You see 6 times 2 is 12. Then I have a times 3. So I have to do the next multiply and divide from left to right. 12 times 3 is 36. And 73 minus 36 finally is 37. So your calculator does the order of operations for you. You have to type it in all at once exactly as you see it, hit enter, and it will do the order of operations for you. All right. Moving on. Oh, even fractions. So I'm going to write this down. I'm just going to do it on my calculator. 7 over 4 times 1/3 plus 4 over 5. I should have went to school today and picked up a workbook for me. All I have is this online workbook. 7 over 4, I'm going to hit a fraction and type in 7 over 4. Arrow over, then it says it's a multiply. Another fraction, 1/3, 1 divided by 3, arrow over, then it says plus. A fraction again, 4 over 5, arrow over, and then it says multiply. And then we're going to do a fraction again, and we're going to do 1 over 2, and we get 59 over 60. If I typed in it correctly, it's up to you guys to tell me if I typed in something wrong. Anybody else get 59 over 60?
Yes.
Good, good, good. All right. So once again, you can try that out. Try this out. Once again, it's going to do the divide before the subtraction. Let's try number 11 out. I'm going to do it the long way, and then I'm going to do it on the calculator. I don't need to do it on the calculator. You guys can try it. So remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Multiply and divide are done from left to right. Add and subtract are done from left to right. Parentheses, there are no parentheses. And when we say parentheses, we mean inside of parentheses. Exponents, are there any powers? Yes. 7 to the second power, 7 times 7 equals 49. So this changes to 49. Minus 4 times 7. So we did the exponent part. Next, we're looking for any multiplier divide. Well, as we move from left to right, there's only one multiply. 4 times 7 is 28. I bring down the subtraction sign and the 49. And then 49 minus 28 is 21. So if you type this straight into your calculator like that, you should get 21. Somebody verify it. And if I got something wrong, you better let me know. Looks.
Yes, it's 21.
Good, 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 good. Thanks. Okay, let's try this last one on the calculator, number 13. You guys try it. I'm not going to do it. Then you just tell me your answer. Because then we get into harder stuff. Ooh, scary. Somebody put that into the calculator. I'm going to try to do it. This, all exponents first. That's 64. This is 100. That's 4. That's 25. Did anybody get 80? Oh, good. Denise, I see that you did it. Good, good, good. Thanks. So when you put that in your calculator, you should get 89. All right, number 14. Now, when I already looked at test 1. When I looked at test 1, questions similar to number 14, evaluate. I think there are 2 or 3 questions on the test similar to number 14, and it's going to say evaluate. So let me show you the steps. And we really have to pay attention to the words that are here that, that pertain to the certain problems. So let me scroll this up a little bit. And we're going to talk about the word evaluate. So evaluate means plug numbers into letters, then do the math. That's exactly what it means. Evaluate means plug the numbers into the letters and then do the math. So step 1, rewrite the problem. Change all letters to parentheses. By the way, this part is the problem. This is the problem. This just tells you what x equals and y equals, okay? So the problem is the stuff before that semicolon. So step 1 is rewrite the problem, 3x. But it says change all letters to parentheses. So instead of x, I'm going to put a parentheses. Plus 7y, y is a parentheses, plus 8. So step 1, change all letters, x's and y's and a's and b's and c's to parentheses. Step 2, plug in correct number into each parentheses. So I'm going to plug in the correct number. Do you see x is 2? So we need to plug a 2 into the x. In the x spot, we plug a 2 in there. Y is 9. So I plug a 9 into the y spot, plug a 9 into the y spot. And then finally, do the math. Plug this into your calculator exactly as you see it. By the way, you can use the order of operations also, but let's plug that into the calculator exactly as we see it. I think this is going to come in handy, especially later on when the problems get a little bit more complex. So I'm going to plug this into my calculator. I'm going to give you a second in case anybody's writing anything down, because as soon as I leave here, it's going to all erase. I think there's still two people that, or maybe more, who haven't taken the easy quiz yet. That easy quiz on Respondus needs to be completed. I want to make sure it works on your computer. They sent me an email saying I have to drop students on Thursday. I wanted to drop people tomorrow. They said I drop them on Thursday. Boo. I know, I'm so mean. I don't want to drop anybody. But if I don't drop, if let's say somebody doesn't come to class the first 2 days, I have to drop them. They're going to fail. I don't know when they're going to come. If they don't come the first week, they missed 20% of the class. So I'm dropping them so they don't get an F. After Thursday, if you drop, you get a W or an F. Before Thursday, you won't even get a grade in the class. It'll be as though you didn't take it. So I wanted to help people out, the people who don't show up. All right, so let's put this into our calculator. Well, if you should have put it in your calculator, I'm going to just use the order of operations quick. 6 plus 63. Oh, I want to put it in my calculator. This is 69 plus 8, and I get 77. So I'm going to put it in my calculator too, because I want to show you how I put it in my calculator. I use the parentheses exactly as I see it. 3 parentheses, we put a 2 in that parentheses, plus 7 parentheses, we put a 9 in that parentheses, plus 8. And I hit enter and I get 77. So you want to type it in exactly as you see it with the parentheses and all. And then there's really no messing this thing up. All right. Let's look at the next problem. I want to see what 16 looks. 16 or 17 is closer. Let's do 16. 16 is closer to or 17 is closer to what's on the actual test that we're going to have next week. So let's take a look at this problem. And I would really do these steps. So first, once again, this is the problem right here to the left of the semicolon. This just tells us what x equals. So it's x parentheses plus 5 divided by x parentheses minus 2. And we're putting x is 18. We're putting 18 in there. 18 plus 5 is 23. 18 minus 2 is 16. And I think that's our answer. Somebody put that in your calculator. Well, I'm going to put it in my calculator to show you how it all goes into the calculator. I just want to make sure, I really love using this calculator, and I want you guys to get as much practice as possible. So it's a fraction, so I start off by hitting ND. I hit a fraction, and then I put the 18 in the parentheses, so I have parentheses, and I'm going to put it in my problem. Is that an 8? I can't see it. It's blurry. Oh, there it is. Yeah, 18, and then we had plus 5. On the bottom, we had parentheses 18, close parentheses, minus 2. So once again, I type it in exactly as I see it. I hit enter, and I get the answer, 23/16. And it's fully reduced for us. The calculator reduces it for us automatically. All righty, let's try number 17. Can't stress enough, there's no semicolon here, but this is the problem. This tells you what x and y equals. For this is a fraction, for x, so we use a parentheses, plus 15y over 2. And we are going to plug 10 into the x and 8 into the y. And we're going to plug it in our calculator. Somebody tell me what it equals. I know it's an even number, a whole number.
80.
80, thank you. And it turns out to be 80. Good, good, good. You see, the calculator is really important. So practice with this calculator. It really will come in handy. I'm going to try the next one, number 18. I can't stress enough using these steps, because if you skip the parentheses part, oftentimes, I mean, you can change the parentheses and put multiply between it, but oftentimes you might type in something wrong. You want to look at it and see if you typed it in exactly as you see it. Because I've seen people mess up by getting it close. It's close. It looks close to it, but it has to be exactly. So that it really helps. So let's take a look at this one. Practice this on your calculator. So here we have a fraction. We have x. Let me use black. We have x. Then we have a parentheses, and we have y plus 9. On the bottom, I have 7 parentheses, then x minus y. Everywhere there's a letter, I put in a parentheses, and then I'm going to plug in the correct numbers. 7 goes into all the x's. There's a 7 and there's a 7. 7 here. And remember the step, plug in the number into the correct parentheses, the correct number into each parentheses. So 7 goes into both of those, and then 5 goes in the y spots. 5 and 5. So somebody put that in. I'm going to put it in my calculator here. Just look at it really quick. Oh, isn't the answer just 7? Did anybody else get an answer? Just checking. Did anybody else get 7? Oh, wait. Oh, you got a -7? Ooh, you typed something in wrong. It should be a positive 7. So I'm going to do this on my calculator because we got a couple of different answers. Let me write it down first.
I got a positive 7.
Okay, good, good. Let's see what we have here. So first we have a fraction. I hit the fraction first. Then I had parentheses 7. And then I had parentheses and another parentheses 5 plus 9, close parentheses. And then I went to the bottom and I did 7 parentheses with a parentheses 7. Lord, minus parentheses 5. Do you see? You could get it wrong easily. And then finally there was a closing parentheses. So this is what it should look like if you typed it in exactly as we did. You know, put the parentheses for each letter, then plug the numbers into the parentheses. This is what it should look like. And you do get a positive 7 when you get the answer. So it's kind of important to be able to type that in your calculator exactly as we want it. You know, you can try cutting corners, but it doesn't always work. There are different ways of typing it in, but I just recommend doing it this way for each problem. Exactly as we see it. Oh, okay. So our steps are the same for each problem. So here's once again, this is our problem. 3, and then the letter X is a parentheses, but there's a square on that X. Do you see? The letter X gets a parentheses, not the square. So the square is outside that parentheses, plus 8 times X. And then we're going to plug 4 into it. 16 times 4. Let me put this in my calculator. And you should, when you put this in your calculator, you should get 96. Hopefully. Can anybody verify that? Don't forget, you have to raise that power. Wait, is that right?
Do you raise the power to the answer?
You raise the power to the second, wait. 3 parentheses, 4 parentheses to the second power. Did I think I typed it in wrong. Hang on. Did anybody get something different? Wait. I got 80. How come nobody wants, oh, there, I see some people typing things in. Yes, I got 80, good. You got 80, I got 80. I'm glad you guys are typing it in. I got 80 also, that's wrong. I just typed something in my calculator wrong. Okay, so we're okay. Everybody got 80. All right, let's try number 20. Yeah, I mean, look, even your teacher gets it wrong. By the way, nobody's wrong more than me. That's why you guys better keep an eye on me, check up on me, because I mess things up all the time. Fumble fingers, I'm blind, I can't see, hear, just getting old. All right, this problem, I have a parentheses, big parentheses with a square. Then I have an x, so I have to have a parentheses in there. X plus 4 times y, which is a parentheses. So this is what I have. I'm going to plug 2 into the x and 2 in the y. They make it nice and easy. 2 goes in the x and 2 goes in the y, so you can't get them in the wrong spot. So let's try this one with all these parentheses in my calculator. Parentheses, parentheses, 2, close parentheses, plus 4, parentheses, 2, close parentheses, parentheses, raise it to the second power. And this is what it should look like. And that's what we get, 100. Everybody okay with that answer? Did you guys get 100? So, I mean, if you didn't get 100, more than likely you got the parentheses in the wrong spot. Or if it says error, or let's see what happens if I would have, I don't know. I think there's a way of rewriting the same problem or redoing the same problem. I don't know how. But let's just let me put my calculator in here. Just do a problem really quick. Parentheses 2 plus 5 parentheses 2 close parentheses raise it. Wait, I'm not gonna put that parentheses. I'm gonna delete that oh, I didn't want to do that. Parentheses 5. If I close the parentheses and raise it to the second power, do you see? I forgot what I think. Let's see what happens. It gives me the answer. I was trying to do it where there's actually a parentheses missing. There should be one more parentheses to close the big one, and it gave me the correct answer here. I'm going to try a different one so you can see what happens if you type something wrong. Plus 5. I don't know how. I don't know. Parentheses 2 plus 3 parentheses I'm just seeing if I can get an error for the parentheses. I don't know. That's not going to give me an error. Oh, let's see if it does. No, it doesn't give me an error. But if you get an error, then it'll say something like parentheses error. It might be. Let me see if I can do it like this: 2 plus 3, close the parentheses, raise it to the second power. And if you hit syntax error, there we go. Do you see? So when I go back, if you look at it, I forgot to put the open parentheses at the beginning, and we're raising it to a power parentheses. There's a parentheses there, but there's no open parentheses. They'll forgive you for one closed parentheses that you didn't have. So then you can insert a parentheses in there. And then when you hit enter, it does the math for you. So it'll say syntax error if you have the parentheses wrong, usually. All right. Moving on. How many questions did I say there were today in this? 23, 24, 24. 4 more questions. Hang in there. Question number 21. What is that? 6. What is that? What is that box? Somebody's telling me in the chat.
It's a positive 6.
Yeah, but what are those lines? What do those lines mean? I'll give you, you said positive 6. Tell me what the lines mean. These two lines are just straight lines. They mean absolute value. So absolute value, not many people even know this. Absolute value is how far away is the number from 0. Do you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Can you tell me how far away 6 is from 0? How far away is it? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots. The absolute value of 6 means how far is 6 from 0? It's 6 spots away. If I ask you the absolute value of negative 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you see this is negative 6? How far is negative 6 away from 0? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 spots away. So the absolute value is always the number inside, but it comes out as a positive. Negative 6 is 6 spots away from 0. 6 is 6 spots away from 0. Negative 22 is 22 spots away from 0. Let's see if we can find this on our calculator. I don't even know if there's an absolute value on our calculator, but let's see if we can find it. I'm going to have to look at it. You guys might have to help me out. I know Jose has it on his TI-89. Does anybody see an absolute value symbol on their calculator? I don't see it. So that might be a unusual problem for us because we're not going to be able to type that in. I really thought it would be here. Maybe it is. Give me a second. I don't see it. I don't see absolute value anywhere. Okay, so this is one of those where you have to write it down. Okay, so I don't see absolute value on the calculator. I know on the graphing calculators it has it there. So the absolute value of 6 is 6. Whatever number's in there comes out as a positive. Absolute value of negative 22 is a positive 22. Now look at this. Order of operations says do what's in the parentheses first. So the absolute value of negative 1/4 in the absolute value is positive 1/4. Whatever's in there comes out as a positive. However, look, in front of the absolute value, there is a negative. So the answer to this is negative 1/4. So it's negative 1/4 absolute value, but there's a negative in front of it. So order of operations says do what's in the parentheses first. So absolute value is a sort of parentheses. So we do that first. The absolute value of negative 1/4 is a positive 1/4. Negative 1/4 is 1/4 away from 0. Once we do that, we still have a negative in front of it. So this answer, the final answer, is negative 1/4. So that's a little tricky there. And we don't have a calculator. So we have our last problem of the night. Oh no. And don't leave. I have to take roll. I want to verify the roll again. I really should take roll earlier. So this is 4 absolute value of x plus 5 absolute value of y. X is 6. I'm going to put a 6 in here. 8 is, y is -8. I'm putting a -8 in here. Order of operations says do what's in the parentheses first. So by the way, can somebody tell me what is happening between the 4 and the absolute value of 6? What kind of math is happening right between these two? 4 absolute value of 6. What does that mean? What kind of math? Are we going to add those two together? What are we going to do with just these two?
Multiplying.
Yes, thank you. When there's nothing between, the same thing with a parentheses. If I have 2 parentheses 2, it means multiply. If you don't see anything, there's an invisible multiply. So there's an invisible multiply here. But we do everything in the parentheses first. So the absolute value of 6 is 6. Then we bring down the 4. The absolute value of -8 is 8. So do you see, we do the absolute values first. Now I can plug it in my calculator. 4 times 6 plus 5 times 8. You do the multiplying. You can plug this straight in your calculator. You do the multiply first. And then you do the next multiply. You don't add yet. You do the next multiply. 5 times 4 is 5 times 8 is 40. And then you add those two. 24 plus 40 is 64. So our final answer here is 64. So when you have these problems, unfortunately, we don't have an absolute value, so I can't plug it straight in. You do the absolute values first. I get 6. I get 8. Absolute value -8 is 8. Remember, there's an invisible multiply between them. And then I can plug this straight into my calculator. 4 times 6 plus 5 times 8. And the answer on my calculator would be 64. All right. That's that. Let me take roll again. I guess I have to go to the roll sheet. If I'm there, let's see. Attendance. Let's see if you guys have mics, or you can just say hello on the. This is the. I want to do college algebra. Shanice, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, doke. And we, Adriana, we know you're here. I don't know. They're marking it for both. Kristen, are you here? Kristen?
Yes,
Okay. Alma?
Yes.
Jose, I know you're here. Or you were. Are you here, Jose?
Yes.
I just wanted you to talk. Kaylee, I think you're here.
I'm here.
Samantha?
I'm here.
Denise?
Yes, I'm here.
I saw you. And Emery. Emery, you weren't here yesterday either. Emery. Okay, last call for Emery. Oh no. All right. You guys have a good evening. I'm going to hang around if there's any more questions. If not, I'll see you tomorrow for the next section that we cover. You should be on this homework. You should be on that second and third homework. So we've covered the first 3 homeworks, and don't forget, you have to do that math lab, how to type in answers also. I think that's part of it. So plus the first 3 homeworks. Oh, you do. Oh, you have a different calculator. Yeah, it says abs. Are you using a TI-84, Denise? TI-84?
No, it's a Casio.
Okay, yeah, I really don't like those Casios. That's okay. Whatever works for you, just as long as you're able to type it in and everything's working out for you. That's good. Yeah, this one for some reason does. Maybe there's an absolute value somewhere, and I just don't see it. Maybe I'll look it up on the computer. All right, you guys have a good evening. I'll hang around if there's any questions. Bye, y'all.
You too. Have a good day.
Bye, bye. You too.
Goodbye.
Bye, bye.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I'm just wondering, do you have to look into the fact that I'm only on one class, or do you need to?
I'm going to look into it tomorrow, and then if I need to call anybody, I will, because you're supposed to be on both of my roll sheets, and according to that, you're only on one. So I'm going to write it down right now. Row sheets for college algebra 1314. Look into it. So I'll let you know tomorrow. Ask me tomorrow, but I'll look into it tomorrow, and then tomorrow in class, ask me before class or something again, and I'll let you know what I came up with.
Okay, thank you, sir. You have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
What is the second class that we're supposed to be enrolled in? Because I have Math 0001.
No, there should be an 0214 that you're enrolled in also. You should see 0214.
No, I am not. I just have that. It says
th-
Math 0001-099.
Yeah, this is Alma.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna look into that. God, who was that just left? Oh, it was Matilda. So I'll look into both of you too, okay? And I'll let you
Okay.
know what's going on. All right.
All right. Good. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Samantha, you there? All right, you guys have a good evening. I'm gonna hit the road. Bye, all.